beauty fan, welcome back to Mickey Carr Beauty, and I'm Mickey Carrico, and on my channel I love to talk about luxury skincare and beauty and sometimes luxury goods. And today, I know it's a little late, we're at the beginning of September, but I promised you I would film my mid-year roundups, even though we're kind of towards the end of the year. But I don't know, it's gonna get really busy at the end of the year with the holiday purchases. There's still more makeup coming out, so I basically went through all of my Instagram and YouTube channel and looked around of what I've been buying this past year, and it was a good thing to look back on that. So if you want to see my mid-year, quasi-mid-year favorites, I'm only focusing on the yays, not the boos and the nays in this video. We're just gonna do all the stuff I like and love. Then keep watching. But before we continue, remember to subscribe, click all to get notification of all the videos, and then commenting and liking below really helps out engagement on my channel. So with that out of the way, let's begin. It was a fun experiment to look back on my favorites of this year so far. What I'll do is I'll show you the product in my hand and then show you a screenshot of what the product looks like in use. I don't have time to do makeup. I already have a full face of other makeup on, and all that makeup on my face will be listed below if you're interested. And then all the products will be listed in my shop, my link. It's just there for your reference. If you would like to support my channel, go ahead. You can use affiliate links, no pressure at all. You can just ignore that. It's more just a way for me to organize all the makeup for me instead of just listing it. You can go to the shop my link, or you'll see in the description box below all of the makeup I'm reviewing or just highlighting today. So, favorites of this year so far, HydraFacials. I'm going to show you a picture here. I'm going to move over here. HydraFacials have been really a game changer for me. I have aging skin. I have recovering eczema prone skin. I used to get eczema patches really badly here, and then I have what I call in the inverted triangle zone of rosacea, and sometimes on my chin. And I also have like hormonal acne here. You can't really see it because I have a full face, a full beat on my face, but HydraFacials have been a game changer for me. So I'm showing you a picture. I try to actually post whenever I get a HydraFacial what my face looks like right after. It's bare skin. And then usually the week of after, my skin looks so good. It's actually good for a good 3 to 6 weeks. They recommend you get a HydraFacial every month. It's a bit spendy, so it's what I can afford. I can probably go once every 2 to 3 months. But to get the full effect, it's really best to go once a month. And HydraFacials, if you have the right esthetician and knows how to work with someone with rosacea, they know what to do and not do with your face. So for me, it's been a game changer. It's actually helped reduce my acne and rosacea. So I wanted to at least let you know that's been a big one for me of my mid-year review faves. I want to highlight the Chanel Sublimage Le Correcte Yeux in shade 40. The price point on this concealer is nuts. So this is the concealer. I have it in shade 40, and it comes with this little brush. I think I might have a picture here. So here's the product, and it's over, I can't remember how much the price, but it's down below. Pretty much, this is the only concealer I've bought this year because it's so expensive, but it actually works. The downside of this is that it has a limited shade range. So I BD51 in Chanel, so it's a bit too light, but with powders and bronzing, I actually work with it, and it ends up being this really beautiful, natural looking concealer that just blends in my skin, and it's really meant to be for a more mature customer. It is messy. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's a clear, this is the bottom, so you can see what it looks like on the other side. I really dislike char products. But there's something about the aesthetic, I think, that the beauty industry thinks that we still like jar products. I don't like them because then I can't travel with them, and then it's fussy to use. Anyway, it's a thing. I know that beauty has been around for a while, and products. It looks pretty on my vanity. The downside of this is that because it is so messy, and if I'm in an extreme hurry, I don't reach for this. So this has been a faves, and it continues to be my faves, and really the only concealer that I've bought this year, because everything else I'm not super interested in. I know concealers are having their moment, but I haven't seen any review where it's a standout, where it's a game changer. So really happy with that Chanel Sublimage Le Correcte Yeux Concealer. The Dior Nude 200 lipstick. And it seems like just a boring lipstick, but nude lipsticks are really difficult for me to find because of my underpigment. So you can see how my underpigment is very berry, and it's like brown on the edges and very pink berry on the middle. So it's really hard for me to find a nude with that's more warm tone. This does best with a liner, but this is a really pretty nude color. I really like it. I usually have a lot of pinky nudes, but not browny or like cool tone brown nudes. So that's been a favorite of mine, and that's the Dior Nude Lipstick in 200. I'll do a swatch so you can see. Such a pretty color. Okay, so my next favorite has been the Dior Lip Maximizer in 038 Rose Nude. And here's a picture. I've used this several times. I've done swatches. This is actually in my makeup bag. I had to hunt this down, and this is the one I use on the go. It's just the perfect nude rose for me. And in fact, I won't put it on separately, but I'll put it over here, this lipstick. It's a really pretty lip maximizer, so it definitely has a little bit of a tingle sensation, but it does go away for a while, after a while. So I've been really loving this. This is definitely something I'm keeping in my my actual makeup bag when I go to work, and I'm actually separating it now, so make sure to put it back where it belongs. So the next on my list that made my mid-year faves is the Dries Van Noten 05 Graphic Ochre in Neon Garden case. And it's not new. I think this came out last year, but I got it this year. This is a bit of a spendy lipstick. The case you buy separately, and the lipstick is reusable. So you basically buy the component, and this is the sheer lipstick, the Graphic Ochre 05, and the case is separate. I love this case. I think it's so beautiful. Out of all the lipstick cases I've seen this year, it's probably still my favorite. I think it's so beautiful. I want to collect all of them eventually, but kind of gotta wait and save my money. So this is Graphic Ochre, and then I'll do a little swatch for you. You can see I definitely have a type. It does have a scent. So Dries Van Noten, I think, is a perfume company or a luxury fashion house. I can't remember. I know they make makeup, but before that they were making, I think it's perfume and primarily clothes. The clothes look great also. This kind of like the aesthetic, it's kind of like, looks like painting. And so it's no surprise that they really paid attention to the packaging. It is a snap closure. It has the Dries Van Noten symbol up here. It reminds me of like a gold coin. The bottom is this kind of same gold. It's a little bit more matte, but it's beautiful. I think that these cases actually are more beautiful than their Hermes ones. So let me take off my lipstick and then I'll show you. But you can see here what Graphic Ochre looks like. I've used that a lot this year. Really pretty. And this is just the sheer formula. There's something so satisfying. I just love looking at this. I would love to try the matte formula, but it's hard to find the colors online. I'd like to see these in line before I invest in another lipstick, because they are on the spendy side. But if I could ever get to travel and there's a Dries Van Noten, I would definitely go to find the swatches and then buy one there in person. But otherwise, I'm not fussed and hurried to go buy a new one. As a beauty collector and enthusiast, I definitely favor lipsticks. So I have a lot of favorite lipsticks in this roundup. So hold on. So my two favorite also this year, Lisa Eldridge came out with new gloss embrace gloss lip products, and these are my two favorites, the Decade one and the Blush Lightly, which surprised me because I thought I almost didn't get this one because I'm like, it's too dark. And this one, Blush Lightly, I almost didn't get it because I have blush. Well, here's the thing, blush lightly, I actually prefer more than the blush one just because it's a little bit light. It's a bit lighter. The blush gloss embrace, it's pretty impactful. So it's nice to have like a light wash of pink when you're having a gloss, or at least for me, that's what I prefer. And then I'll put a picture here. And then Decade, this gloss, I love it. I actually, every time I've worn this, I get complimented by people. And I think it's part of that trend where a lot of people like that Clinique, I can't remember what it's called. This is like a brownie purple, but it just, depending on your skin tone and your lip color, it can really, really translate in different ways. It's just a beautiful color, and I'll show you, actually, I'm going to put that on. I want you to see. And all of these I have a video or Instagram review on. So this is Blush Lightly. And I do enjoy the doe foot. I remember watching a review, and I get it. Like, someone didn't like the doe foot because it pulls a lot of product. But for someone who has big lips like I do, I don't have to go back in and dip. So for me, I just swirl and twirl, and I get the perfect amount of product. So as you can see, it's like the perfect pinky, kind of pinky mauve-y tone, at least on me. It looks really pretty, right? I love that. And then Decade is a really fun one because it's so pigmented. Okay, I put it on heavy, but here's the thing about this lipstick. So you can have a vampy moment here, or you can use your finger and kind of cut it down, or cut it down even more, so it becomes like this brown, almost like purpley color. It's so pretty. So I'll show you a picture here. It's been on my faves for sure. So this also made my faves of this year. So Lisa Eldridge came out with new shades for her Seamless Skin foundation, and she came out with the shade 20.5. And I had since looked at my videos, and 17 was the shade I landed on probably a year ago, and I did an extensive review. And I need to do an update because some people of you have asked to do kind of a shade swatch again based on my changing of shade colors. Some of you were someone was like a little rude saying, oh no, like they were like 17 is awful on you. It's like, come on, be nice. But I get it. 17 isn't the right shade. However, 20.5 is, and it's a deeper shade. So any of these I have a review of, and I can link the playlist below. So this is my perfect shade. I love this. And the way this is like self-setting almost reminds me of the new Suku foundation, which I'm going to review around the same time and release the video. It's a different price point. This is definitely very pigmented, similar to the Suku, but the Suku has more kind of nourishing elements to it as well. Tom Ford Forbidden Pink in the creme formula. So it is this one. This one got a lot of this one a lot of people were making fun of because they were saying it's so forbidden that pink is not in this palette, which I get. It's so funny. It's that cream formula, and you can see how much I've used this already. I'll do a little bit of a swatch here so you can see. So for me, this is just, it shows up as pink, but others probably not. It's really this shade here that doesn't translate into pink for some people. But when I layer these two together, it does turn out to be pink, especially with this neutral cream formula. I love it because it's a very cool leaning, and it's hard for me to find really nice, cool leaning pink quads that don't make me look ashy. So I love this. It worked for me, and I have a medium warm complected skin tone. So if you're my skin tone and you're always looking for something that's going to be a cool tone pink, this one, Forbidden Pink, would be your gal. I love the packaging. It's pink, and it has what is it called? Like, I don't want to say it's Saffiano, but it has the cross stitch. I don't know if it's translating here that you can see it. It's cross stitch here on the pattern, and you can ASMR moment. You can there's texture on there. So I love that. It definitely has been one of my two favorite Tom Ford quads this year. The Suku Treatment Wrapping Lip Gloss. These have been my favorite thus far this year. I love this, the gloss for pigment, and it's nourishing as well. It feels so great. It's it's probably my favorite lip gloss formula, but these are technically not lip glosses. These are a lip treatment, but with a light gloss. So these are not pigmented here, whereas Lisa Eldridge, you're doing it for the formula and the colors. This is, I'm love for the formula. And this one is 101. This is the one that it's, once it's gone, it's gone. I'm so sad. But I've been reaching, this is basically the one in my purse that I had to hunt down. And I actually just need to leave it alone and probably put it away here because it's gonna, I'm looking at it now. I might get a backup of that because once it's gone, it's gone. This is 05. This is Candy Pink. I can't remember the name of that 101. It's just, it's like an iridescent pink purple. And this is Candy Pink. This is 05. So you can see it's not as pigmented, right? It's not a gloss like Lisa Eldridge, but it's the formula. It's the formula that gets me of Suqqu, and this is why I love Suqqu. Suqqu is always like experimenting, and it's just about the performance. It's really beautiful. I don't want to take this off because it's actually had this one at the very beginning of the video. The clear one you can't even see. It's just basically, I use it as a lip treatment at anytime I don't have lipstick on or anything. But this one I often put on, and actually I put it right in front of my vanity here because when I'm starting to do makeup or cleaning my area, I actually put this on as a treatment right before I do a video, right? So I'll take it off and whatnot. But in terms of the gloss, my favorite are still Lisa Eldridge, but if you want a treatment with a little bit of color, the Suqqu treatment wrapping lip are fantastic. Like if you're looking for a treatment, I don't know what's in there, but there's something about, like, I've tried a lot of lip balms and oils. This is the one that makes my lips just feel so great. I basically can wear it all day, and that's not the case for a lot. Like this starts to get it's not a goopy formula, but it's heavier feeling, whereas that one is lighter. Faves. Okay. I only have one bronzer that is my favorite this year. Do you guys want to guess? So I'll put the picture here. My favorite is the Hermes Plain Air H Trio Healthy Glow Mineral Powder in 04 CN. I love that the H is still there, the embossing, and that doesn't happen with makeup embossing. Oftentimes with I'll just name them, Dior and Chanel, like people are like, oh, look at the embossing. I'm like, the embossing is gonna wear down. I just know that because I've tried their products. Like, don't buy it for the embossing. The Tweeds collection last year, most of that tweed embossing is gone. But this, I mean, I've used this pretty heavy this year, and this embossing is still sticking around. Did try both 03 Sahara and 04 Cien, and I landed on keeping the 04 CN because I knew I was getting deeper. And like, actually, I'm just gonna show you some right now. I just go in pretty light with this. Oh, so pretty. And it does have a little bit of the Hermes perfume. It does go away though, at least for me, and I don't mind it. So it's just, to me, there's like a luminosity in the bronzer. Technically there are 3 shades. It's this one, this, and then the H, and then the part in the middle is their own color. Can you see there actually are technically 3 different tones? But I just swirl and twirl because there's no way I can isolate. But for sure, there's something about this formula. The shade works for me, but it's also blurring, and that doesn't happen with a lot of bronzers. And in my head, I can tell you, I'll do a video of it. I know already which are my favorite cream bronzers and which are my favorite powder bronzers. And it would be really, really hard for me to say which of one, if I had to do a ranking. I might do a ranking, we'll see. But this is, this has been on my top shelf as well. Okay, so moving on, I'm really loving still the Suqqu Pre-Summer Sunflower Collection. This is 124, the Nichi Rinha. the Pre-Summer Sunflower Collection, and the corresponding blush, 139 Kafu. And I almost didn't get this because I really do favor the melting powder blush formula, and they're discontinuing it due to resource issues. But this, ooh, this blush, so good. So good. I actually will probably show you, and be uneven. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I know I have already blush on. What do I have on here? I have a different Suku blush, but why don't I just show you why I love this. It's it's almost like a bronzer. I don't know if it's going to show up. There we go. Do you see that? Oh, so pretty. And then if you were to isolate these, if you go on this side versus this side, one is the blush and one is the blush, one is the what do you call it, the highlight. And I don't have highlight on today, but one could certainly go in separately on this side and then do a highlight here. So pretty. So this is the blush Kafu, and this is what I think that Suku really, they shine in a lot of things, but if you were to ask me what is like their standout product, I would say their blushes, their melting powder blushes, and their pure color blushes. So don't sleep on these. This is Kafu 126. This is limited edition, so likely it's not available, but if it is, I'll link it below. And this is definitely not available anymore. This is 124 Nichi Rinha, and I just love greens. These green tones and this shade down here, ooh, it's just so rich. It's like this buttery chocolate with red tones and a shift of teal in there. This like grassy green, this topper, and this olive, this shade, this palette is everything. I just love it. And I always look forward to the pre-summer and summer Suku quads. They're my absolute favorite. I only have one highlighter that I really like this year, and I actually am not a huge highlighter person. Some people see highlighters and they have to buy it. I'm not one of those. I actually don't have that big of a highlighter collection, but this is still a favorite of mine, and this is the Fantasy de Chanel in Pastel Fuchsia. This is limited edition, and I used this earlier this season, but I've gotten deeper, so I can't really use it. But this is what I mean by the embossing. The embossing is starting to wear down. It was a bit of a tweed embossing plus the CC. I don't know if it's tweed, actually. It was the way it was laid. Actually, there was tweed in there, but it's basically starting to wear down. I'm going to do a swatch for you, but because I don't want to, well, I can show you a little bit what that looks like here. But it's just too frosty for me right now. I would have to have like more of a pastel-y spring look, whereas like right now we're looking pretty bronzed. But here's a picture of me when I was using it earlier in the spring. I think this is such a beautiful spring highlighter. So this is actually the only highlighter I've bought this year. I did not buy a lot of Dior products this year, and the ones I didn't make the cut. Funny enough, the only thing that made my Dior cut list was that the Maximizer and the Dior 200, and then this is the Eden Rock nail polish, and this is in that beautiful color Eden Rock, and I'll show you a picture of here. I was wearing this a lot earlier this spring and then into summer, and I just love it. I ended up getting that Dior Riviera, kind of like a flight of Eden Rock eyeshadow, which I don't like that new formula. So I like the color curation of the Eden Rock Dior Riviera Quint, but I don't like the formula, so it didn't make the cut. So definitely still loving that. And then I forgot about the Chanel Spring collection, the Rouge Allure. They came out with a lot of red lipsticks, but they also came out with lipstick colors that really worked for me, and I did a video of these. I just love the classic Chanel Rouge Allure case. They pop up so luxe. I love it. So I have in Temporal in 60, which is a boring nude, but again, it's really hard for me to find nudes. I've used this and cocktailed with other lipsticks a lot. You can see I can find a pinky nude where it's hard to find a more warm tone nude with a little bit of brown in it. And then I love the 61 Intuitive. That's just like almost like the perfect brown color for me. It's got a little bit of pink. Gosh, this the last year and even the last fall, the Rouge Allure Chanel releases have been just fantastic. And then this is the color. This the last one I swatched was 61 Intuitive. And then this is the color 64 Eternelle, which is like this beautiful berry pink color. I've used this for special looks. So pretty. And this is what I mean, like Chanel does, when they do lipstick, they just do it really well. So look at how pretty that is. Yeah, I already know what my favorite lipsticks are already this year. I would have to say hands down Lisa Eldridge and then Chanel. Just, those are my favorites. Okay, so moving on, speaking of Chanel, there's a lot of Chanel in this review. Part of spring, they had the 68, they had a release of the eyeshadow quad, and this is 68 Delices. I think this is such a beautiful spring curation. You know, people complain that Chanel isn't super pigmented, and they're right, it's not. And that's kind of the aesthetic of Chanel. But the color curations and the products they come up with are very, like, simply elegant. So I've done a couple looks with this 68 Delices. I just think between the Delices eyeshadow quad and the highlighter, it was such a beautiful release early in spring. Byredo Remembrance. I reviewed the heck out of this palette. I did so many looks on Instagram for this. Here are some pictures of this palette. I actually did a mashup too of mixing the Byredo Remembrance with Clara Kalahari. It's a match made in heaven. You know, this is a fun palette. I get intimidated when there's so many. My only feedback about this would be I kind of wish they didn't have so many because I do tend to get overwhelmed. But it is what it is. I mean, they could move down to the 15 size. What is this? The Natasha Denona 3-5. They could do 15 and I would still buy it, right? So they could just even pare down some of the colors and it'd be fine. But even though some of these look the same, it's a different formula. I do understand that some people, the colors, looks might look the same, and I get it. What I like about this formula is that it doesn't translate like wow pow so much on video, and I'm showing you pictures here. It doesn't, like, it's a really, in real life, it reminds me a little bit like of Chanel Plus. It has a really nice subtle effect. Not like a Pat McGrath kind of impact, but it's so subtle and elegant. I just really love this palette. So definitely it's on my top shelf. The Sugu Summer 2023, I grabbed just one, and again, it's because of my bias. I love the green palette. So they had two green palettes this year, and this is the summer one. This is 125 Hikarimai. It's a prism green and matte brown, and this one is like a multi-chrome. I don't know if you can see it. It's a beautiful ship, and you know, these are fine. These are like nice matte shades. They're like the backup singers, but she's the lead. So obviously the lead. She's a Leo. And then they'll show you the pictures up here of the look I've done. This, I'm pretty sure, sold out. So if it's available, I'll link it below, but most likely it's sold out. The Chanel Le Beige Cream Bronzer in 395 Soleil Tan Deep Bronze. Such a long name. These came out as the travel size. They haven't come out, I don't believe, and it's a new formula. They haven't come out in the big formula. So this is the cream bronzer. This is the cream bronzer I've been reaching for. It's just such a great shade for all over. So I've been using that since I've gotten it. It's been on my top shelf. And then while we're on Chanel, the Le Beige Healthy Glow Cream and Rosy Beige has also been one of my go-tos. It's basically like a primer, skin enhancer. This did not come out in the States, unfortunately. I actually bought this from a third party. I think it was only available in Asia and then maybe Canada, maybe I have a review of it. There's a picture here of me reviewing it, and God, anytime I use this under a foundation, it just makes my skin just elevated. It's basically like a primer plus, if you will, like primes the face and then just makes all the looks beautiful. I'm gonna move to Danessa Myricks because it's not a new product, but it was new to me this year. I ended up panning shade 5, or I ended up panning shade 4, and I got 5 also because I've gotten deeper. So this is like the better shade match for me. The downside about Chanel, other than you can't get it, which is kind of ridiculous. I stand by the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. Like really, this product has been a game changer for me. I actually use this on the go. This is again like my top shelf. I just put it here when I just want my skin. It was almost like it's like pre-makeup. You can use that as a primer. I actually sometimes don't want to use makeup, but it covers the redness I have. I love this Chef's Kiss. And I have it in 4 and 5, so I use 4 on the center, usually in 5 if I want dimension, but I'm perfectly fine with just putting 5 all over my face. I love this product, and it definitely, the fact that I bought it in another shade is usually a tell for me that I really love the product. Okay, we're going to Natasha Denona. As you might guess, the Yucca palette has made my top palettes of this year. Such beautiful, fun looks. Here's some pictures of looks that I did. I like what she's doing. Natasha Denona is what she's doing, like a really fun editorial palette, and then she's doing like basic one that she knows everyone's gonna buy. It's actually really smart marketing that if people were interested in this, that they bought it because you can get some grungy glam shades here and looks. Love this. Again, it's on my top shelf. And then I actually love this. She also came out with color correctors. I believe, I forget how many shades. I want to say she came out with 5 shades of color correctors. I've definitely been using this color corrector. I've been looking for something to kind of, not replace, but this is sometimes too light. This is a great when I'm paler, but I've gotten deeper, so this is great for all over my face, and this is so great when I have like acne or red spots. Again, top shelf, sitting here, I use it all the time. I know this one might be a little bit controversial, but I'm loving this. I still love this Isamaya Beauty 2.0 palette. Some of you hated her lipstick and her I want to say hate, but once they found out like really what her thing was, they're just not into it. I get it. But you know what? She's an artist, so you just live and let live. So this is the industrial palette. This shade, actually, when I was doing a review, got crumbly and broke, and I was reviewing it and I had to show people what happened. And I reached out to Isamaya Beauty, and they said no, that wasn't supposed to happen. So they sent me a brand new palette. So as you can see, this is untouched. But I did so many beautiful looks with this palette, and I would say like the formula for these shadows are better than the original. I like the color story of the other one, but this is the fun party palette, and for me it's a creative palette, and I just love all the looks I came up with this. There's an emollient on a lot of these shadows, so be very careful. I used to put it up like this displayed, and I no longer do that. I keep this palette flat because I don't want there to be any breaking anymore. Been loving this Danessa Myricks Jubilee. This is the what is it called? It has that Upsolate technology, and it's that blush, the cream blusher. So I just love this so much, and I know I already have blush on my face, but I'm just gonna keep going because why not? I want to show you like just how beautiful this is, and a little bit goes a long way. Do you see just how just added that orange? Just it's so pretty. I love this. And I've tried a lot of cream products, and I actually am not a fan of cream blushers, and this is probably my favorite formula. I have some phytosurgeons and I love the shades, but it's too emollient for me in my oily face. This has Upsolate technology, which she's known for. That's why I love the blurring balm powder. So, you know, oily face beauties like rejoice. You can use cream products because go to Dennis Marix. She knows what she's doing. Can you see how beautiful that color is? So you just need to find the color that works for you. I got, you know, these warm tones look best on me. I don't prefer using it on my lips. I just really love it as a blush. So definitely one of my favorite products. Again, top shelf. I leave that up here. Okay, we're moving back to Lisa Eldridge. She came out with this Lisa Eldridge Velvet Bloom color. So pretty. It's like the perfect springy pink. It's limited edition. I want to swatch it next to this just to see what it looks like. Okay, there's more red in that. And you can see just how pigmented that is. It's such a gorgeous color. I actually went to my first like post COVID, post Panini party, a friend's party, and it was like a formal event, and I actually used Velvet Bloom in my final look, and I love this color. Okay, so that is Velvet Bloom. Such a gorgeous color. I usually can't pull off, I don't think I can pull off colors like this, but because it's Lisa Eldridge, there's something magical in her formulas that just, it tends to work for a lot of people. But look how beautiful this is. Been loving that. That's definitely a top shelf item. So there was also the Tom Ford Soleil des Feux Tropical Dusk Palette, and I just posted a review of this. I actually was reaching for this quad all summer because sometimes I'm traveling, but just to be honest, like I don't have a lot of time for makeup sometimes, especially if I'm going into the office and commuting. I would grab this one because although I like Forbidden, actually the first half of the year I dug into that Forbidden Pink quad, you could see. And then once I got this is actually more of like a tropical dusk. It's like a summer setting kind of like look, and it's so pretty. I just did a review of it, and I'll put a picture here. I actually traveled with this because the thing about Forbidden Pink, that cream formula, it's so gorgeous on the eyes. It's like the cousin to Metal Lust. It's very similar to that. In person though, it's really like editorial, like really it reminds me of like full-on glam, whereas this, it's like a little bit more subdued, and I just love it. And I love the packaging. You guys gotta look at this packaging. It's so pretty. It's like the bronzy sunset, and that's kind of like theme they had, similar to the Forbidden Pink that's new, that, you know, that this year they started putting TF in the front. I also love the Chanel nail polish. I usually don't get Chanel nail polish because it smells a little bit too chemically for me. And I usually try to get green, more sustainable nail polishes, but this color got me. It was part of that in Code Colors collection. So I have actually the mirror. It's like in my workstation. I have a type here. I love purples and the matching nail polish. So that's been a favorite. I do, you know, I never did an unboxing or a review of that Code Colors collection. I don't even know if those are available anymore, but I ended up getting, obviously, the Code Colors. I don't know if getting the brushes and the case were worth it. I actually think if you have access to it, I would definitely get the mirrors instead. I just think those will last longer, and I actually am giving one as a gift later this winter to a gift to a person. So I think if you're going to spend the money, I would save your money and buy the mirrors instead. Okay. I also love the Lisa Eldridge Velveteen Lip Color in Affair. And this is the color here. I use this a lot after I got it. It's, you know, Affair is my favorite color, whether it's in the velvet formula or these velveteens. I recently reviewed the Prada Beauty eyeshadows. Okay, so this is 04 Poetry. I love the packaging. It's not a heavy plastic, but it's the colors I like that it's got the Prada insignia here. It's got gold on the side, and then here it's got Prada Beauty. It is a fingerprint magnet. These are reusable quads, so you push the quad out and you pull it out. There's like a magnet, I think. I just love the packaging. the makeup brushes I'm keeping because I think they're just really hot. Like it's flush and matte, and they're square, and the design on this of how they're doing the colorways are beautiful. I just love the two that I got for colors. These can basically be like basic everyday eyeshadow quads, and I've done that. I've used them as like basic AF kind of looks, and then you have that pop of color for an accent, and I've put that on the side or in the middle or like up here in the corner up here for an editorial look, and it's just beautiful. I love this rose gold shade. And then I have, that was 04 Poetry, and this is 01 Dimensions, I think, and this is the purple quad. Again, I've used these three as a basic colorway look, and then added purple on the liner, but you can certainly make this the main color if you want. You can sheer it out by just doing windshield wiper motions, but I actually like to pack on my color, so I packed this on, and it's just, purples can sometimes be hard. So that purple was pretty, and this they called the billiard green, like as in pool table green, which is so accurate. Okay, moving on. I Need a Nude. She's your like reliable basic girl. There's a look. The review's coming. It's what'll be interesting to see is at the end of the year, I'm gonna do like my favorite palettes that I bought this year. I'll do a ranking. I decided already, because it's like trying to think of which is my favorites, because these are up there for sure. The product. Okay, so speaking of the last quad, I just did a review of this, and it's so funny, you guys. Like, I think that sometimes people aren't watching, and then I change something, and then I get like a negative or a constructive feedback of like, why didn't you do close-ups? I'm like, oh, you guys noticed. Like, I didn't think anyone was watching my videos. Well, I did the last review of this colorway, 06 Caviar Pearls, on my iPhone, and I can't do close-ups because it's not like a real camera. It's like a cell phone, so you can't zoom in. But I'm back to my old setup. So this is Caviar Pearls. I did a review. Here's a picture. I think it's so pretty. I also got Seagrass, and I tried it, and I polled you guys if you wanted for me to do a review of Seagrass, and it pulled really low, so I don't think I'm going to bother doing a review of Seagrass. I didn't like it, actually. That color green looks terrible on me as a warm-complected tan person. I have lots of greens in my makeup collection. I know what greens work for me, and I'll link it up here so you can see and below. I did a green look, and it just looked awful. So the refill itself is $75, I want to say, and then this is like 30 some. Anyway, this is an expensive quad, but for this I think it's worth it, because I'm going to use this color curation, and the formula is gorgeous. It's out of the original formulas this year, I would say Prada, Clé de Peau, and then Prada, Clé de Peau, and that's it, I would say, in terms... Oh, the Byredo, that formula came out last year. So Prada and Clé de Peau have really fantastic new kind of formulas. YSL was not it. I did a review of that, of why I'm not buying any more YSL. I was not happy with that experience. Okay, so we're at the end, and as you can probably guess, my favorites, what made it so far, are the two new Chanel blushes. This is a little bit more like this. I think this is more of a dupe. So if you're craving, maybe tempted to get this, I would say wait. Like, don't get this because it's not original. Like this, I do love it, right? So I'm gonna just grab a blush brush so you can see, and just put it over here. This is such a pretty color, like for fall. There's almost like more of a pink to it if you see this one over here. I keep getting questions about this blush from people, and I don't know what it is, but people keep asking me if this is gonna look bruised on them, and we're like the same complexion. There's no such thing as a silly question, right? But here's the thing, is I'm gonna say it, like, it's not gonna look bruised on you if you're light-handed with your touch. Know your products, know what brush you're using, and you don't have to go in hard with your blush. So, for example, if you know you're getting a blush that's deeper, probably meant for deeper complected beauties, go in light. If If there's too light of a blush and you're a deeper beauty, you probably know it's gonna look ashy. So you know what works for yourself. For me, I already showed people on my review and also Instagram. This does not show up bruised on me. At least I don't think so. You can tell me, but I'll put it on. My tip for this is that use a light brush, like a squirrel hair brush, and just pat it on. You don't have to go ham with your products. And then for me, I found this to be a really beautiful, unique color story. It's a mauve pink with a little bit of purple, and I don't have anything like this. The closest I had was a Suku blush compact that I actually showed you in the video, so you might want to look at that. I don't look bruised. I think it looks so beautiful. Out of the two, if you asked me to pick, I would pick the mauve one, the beige rose at mauve, because it's such a unique color story. Okay, so we're almost at the end. The last thing I'm going to show you are these color pigments. These are the loose pigments from Chanel, and I picked the colors 406 and 408. This is the more purple one. This is the mauve one, and I did looks of these with a blush. Fantastic. This is not going to be for everybody. Some people are messy and they don't like it messy, then stay away. Just like if you know you don't like jarred foundation, cream foundation, like in a jar, if you know that, then don't buy it. Like if you don't like things that come out like loose pigments, then probably you want to stay away from it. But I learned how to work with these. I was fine using this tip applicator or putting it on my hand first and then using a brush and then like actually tapping on quite a bit on my hand. You can see where it's starting to build up, and then use a brush for application, or even go on the top of there because there's actually pigment on top. And I actually, when I wanted more, I actually lined the rim a little bit on the sponge applicator and went in with more impact. I showed that how you could do that in the video, so you might want to check that out. Okay, beauty fam, that is it. I am tired of talking. You can see I just stopped trying on lipstick because my lips are just like getting dry. But I love this Velvet Bloom lipstick so much. I just wanted to end with that. So I hope that was fun. My mid-year plus like roundup of my faves. And if you follow me and you have seen what I've reviewed on Instagram and YouTube, if I didn't review it at here now you know they didn't make my faves, and I'm not going to spend time on the ones I didn't like. You can probably just go back and scroll through and be like, oh, she didn't talk about that Charlotte Tilbury like face palette because I didn't like it. So I don't like it anymore. I'm kind of like buyer's remorse on some products. If you want me to do a video on like, I don't like these products that I bought and why, like, let me know. I could do that too, but I try to be positive on my channel, and I just don't know if anyone wants to see those videos. But either way, I hope that was fun for you, beauty fam. And just so you know, I don't do YouTube full time. I'm more of a really truly a hobbyist and makeup enthusiast, so I only buy what I'm interested in actually using and buying what I know I want to use, and then I'm sharing my experience for you. So just so you know, I don't buy every product. I showed you what I thought would work for me and what I ended up loving these past couple months. Okay, so I hope that helps, beauty fam. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Commenting and liking helps out engagement on my channel. And then like and comment and tell me, did you see any favorites in what I talked about? Are there any products I didn't mention that you're like, oh my gosh, Mickey, you should be ahead of, maybe you should have tried this. Chime in below, let me know. Or if there are products that below that you also liked or didn't like, let me know. I'm kind of curious if something didn't work for you either. So let me know. And then as always, please be very kind to yourself and others and just be you. Until the next video, beauty fam, take good care of yourself. Bye.